Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? So, the title of the video suggests we're going to talk about suckerfish today. Switching it up. And I thought it was important to talk about this subject because what you think of as a suckerfish and what I think of as a suckerfish ain't the same. And I'm going to give you my definition. I'm going to throw it out there into the world, as it were. And this is important, I think, to show you what a suckerfish is because another name for it's an energy vampire. You go, what's an energy vampire? I'm going to teach you about this morning. I think it's important that you see people the way I see people because I don't see people through judgment. I'm grateful when somebody shows me who they are. I don't care if they're good or evil, if they've got all these hang-ups or if they're completely flowing in the universe. It's not my job to decide where someone else is at on their life path that I can't see. It's my job to have my own life. And suckerfish try to take your life away from you. We're getting into it now. I hope you're prepared. So, what's a suckerfish? Let me show you. You call these wolves in sheep's clothing, except, well, if you're a human, you can't be part of a pack. You don't have the instincts for it. You can't smell the pheromones that lock you into a pack. There's a science as to why packs exist, how they exist, the dynamics, everything. It's a really easy study. They wrote books on it. All you have to do is read along. Which means none of you can be wolves. Because to be a wolf, you have to be honorable. And you have to follow the pack and do exactly as you're told at all times without deviating or thinking that you know best or in any way, shape, or form you're in charge. None of you have it in you. You can't be a wolf. And I use the example because people already have a comical example of these words meaning something, even if just as a laughable thought process. A sheep in wolf's clothing. A wolf in sheep's clothing, either way. But you can be a suckerfish. And I know what a suckerfish is, and I'm going to show you how I see suckerfish. You ever met somebody and they've had a rough life? You're like, of course I have. Maybe you haven't. You ever met somebody that's been through a lot? And the reason you know that is to introduce themselves to you. They told you about all of it. And not like, hey, I went through that and this happened to me, but like, oh, this happened to me and like, meh. See the difference? I know it sounds dumb, but there's a huge difference between having a common denominator that you can talk from and making the conversation about the trauma. I'm going to get an unpopular opinion on this video. I'll tell you what. Because society is currently teaching us that our feelings are the most important. That how you feel is even more important than realistic truth. It's more realistic and noteworthy than anything else you can pursue. How you feel is important. Not what are you doing with the world based on how you feel, but only how you feel. And the worse you feel, the more you're coddled in this world. It's become a disease. I'm a victim. And since I'm a victim, I need people to act a certain way around me. Because I'm a victim, I need people to talk a certain way around me. Because I've been through so much trauma, you need to adjust your reality to accommodate my trauma. You ever meet somebody like that? That's a suckerfish. See, the thing is when somebody needs you to focus on them, when they need you to feel a certain way about something that happened to them in their life, Not whether or not you do, but they need you to feel sympathy for them. They need you to feel sorry for them. They need you to feel protective of them. All of these things are narcissistic traits. All of these things, all of these actions are a lack of self love. All of them. All of them. I don't have any sympathy for the situation. I have sympathy for anything anybody goes through. You went through that? Fuck. But I'm not going to treat you no different. I'm not going to stop cussing for you. I'm not going to stop being loud. I'm not going to stop being direct. I'm not going to stop expressing myself. But I'm sorry you feel that way. See, that's cause and effect. You can't attach to me, oh sucker fish, because there's no place for you to attach. I don't look at it like judgment when I see somebody acting like this. I'm grateful that I understand that they need more attention than they can give themselves, and I shouldn't fall into that trap. I can just hear it. No empathy. Somehow I have no empathy by making this statement. I have no understanding of what somebody else has been through. Maybe that argument works with people that are sheep. People that are just a reaction, which is what I consider a sheep. You're a reaction to somebody else's action. You don't have your own flock. You're not the action. You're the reaction. It's not a me problem. Your inability to focus on yourself and deal with the things that make you sad and unhappy in your own life is not my responsibility at all. It's none of our responsibility. You have your own responsibility. No matter what. But all these people walk around with all these hurts. And instead of dealing with them, they're looking for somebody else to deal with it for them. You ever met somebody that like love bombed you? Just you were the greatest and da 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 da. That's just fear that you're going to leave them. That's all it is. It's a trauma response. I love psychology. Love bombing is a trauma response. Needing all of their attention and time is a trauma bonding response. It's just trauma. So I wanted to make a video about it this morning. I want to talk to you about it a little bit. I wanted you to like think about this from my perspective for a second. How many people do you know that require you to think differently than you normally would to accommodate how they feel? I can accommodate how people think all the time. It's the easiest thing in the world for me to do. It's absolutely impossible for me to feel what they're feeling based on their experience, even if we had a similar experience. It wasn't exactly the same. It wasn't. So the idea that you can feel any kind of way about somebody else's situation can only occur if they can successfully attach to you. It's the only way it works. You have to agree to bond with them over trauma. I don't do it. I run from it. As soon as somebody starts speaking from a place of trauma or a mindset of lack, as soon as they start expressing themselves in a way where I know they want me to feel a certain way about it, fuck them. I don't care. Why'd you come into my existence with the expectation that you were going to make me fucking act or talk or feel a certain way? You didn't come into the situation with love. I can meet the worst fucking strung out drug addict in the world, give him a cigarette, $20, and talk to him for 15 minutes about whatever fucking junky nonsense he wants to talk about. and then not stick a needle in my arm, and I can just walk off and not get addicted to drugs and just move on with my life. That's what I think of people that are addicted to someone else feeling sorry for them. You're a drug addict. And I'm not shooting up with you. I'm not doing it. Now, if you're currently going through a problem in your life and you could use some advice or someone to talk to, or maybe just a sympathetic ear while you're going through it, that's great. All those people that love you are right there for you to help you get through that. If you decide you want to get through it, what if it breaks you? What if you've got all these friends, but all of a sudden you just keep being negative? It's just poor me. You put yourself into a position where now you're taking other people's happiness away from them. They can't focus on their own life because you're so loud about what you need as a human being and how terrible it is for you. You ever been in that situation? Or you know somebody that's been in that situation? Or something really terrible or tragic happened and they just changed forever? They lost a loved one, they're cheated on. There's a multitude of reasons. I can't speak too much from a woman's perspective. Being a man, I would never be arrogant and say that I understand. Nope. I can see how the equation works. I can't understand how you came up with it, but I see the logic that you used to connect it, even if I couldn't follow the logic because it was an emotional logic. Get that? It's the other part of this page I'm waiting for. There's some amazingly talented, smart human beings out there. Just a bunch of them are women. And at some point, I'm hoping I can meet a lady, makes me look dumb, or at least makes me rethink everything that I think about, right? And then puts her smart ass on this page and starts commenting from a woman's perspective. Because even though I can think long ways out and I can future plan and I can build empires in my mind and only put one piece at a time on the ground, even though I can do that, I can't give you my perspective and my philosophy from anything more than a man's point of view. No matter what, I understand that this page, no matter how much I put into it, will only ever be halfway completed if I can't find somebody else willing to either argue or agree or disagree or put in new information or take out my old information. I'm building this for the whole world. This is the whole point. And I gotta have a counterbalance with it. And I don't. So it makes me so excited. At some point, my words are gonna reach somebody that absolutely either completely agrees or completely disagrees with me. That's why all y'all are on the fence. Some of the things I say make really good sense. And then some of the things I say sound so foreign to you, you're like, no, this guy's an idiot. What if there's a woman saying the same thing I was saying? Or putting it into a perspective of emotion and feeling, past logic? Wouldn't that be amazing? We all have dreams and aspirations, correct? The people that want you to feel sorry for them don't. Their goal is to find a way to maintain the level of sorrow and pain that they have inside of them. That's it. This hurt. I'm so used to this hurting that if it stops hurting, I won't know who I am anymore. So, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with people like this? False sympathy. It was real easy. Sorry you went through that. First response. Now, if it's somebody you're dating and you're in love and all these other things, I get unpacking with each other. It's not like I'm saying you shouldn't work on yourself or you can't use people to help you get through things. But I'm not talking about you going through trauma I'm talking about you recreating trauma that already happened in the now and then expecting me to accommodate how you felt about it then by hearing about it from you now. Your expectation on how I'm supposed to feel makes you a fucking narcissist. It makes you unbalanced. It's really hard to talk to people that are coming from a mindset that they're already damaged, that they're already broken, that they're already not good enough. You can't convince me of that. No matter how much you tell me you've been through, no matter how bad you feel right now, you can't convince me you're less than you are. It's impossible. My mind works too logically to understand what you're trying to convey as truth that is not. That's why a lot of people, I think I'm callous or I'm unapproachable or I'm untalkable, because somehow they feel that like what they have to say is irrelevant when it's not. You telling me about a sunrise that you saw once could be the most valuable information I ever get in my life. I have no way to determine that. The social experiment doesn't have an edge. Reality doesn't have an edge. It just keeps expanding. But I already learned about pain. I already learned about loss, sadness, anger. I already got all of those experiences. Just like you and however you got them. We're not kids anymore. We've all had some really serious life experiences, whether it broke us or made us, whether we learned from it or kept repeating it. All those things are our decisions. We've all lost somebody at this point, though. We've all had somebody treat us like we were less than we were. We've all had somebody distract us in life from really enjoying or appreciating it. This is just a constant. It's life lessons. It's a video game. And so, like, you got to be aware of these people, these suckerfish. And I don't mean go pick on them, but kind of. And I don't mean call them out, but you should. And I don't mean cause them new trauma, but you can't unless they're so emotionally imbalanced that they can't deal with honest criticism from love. If you're just being a dick, fuck you. But in love, you're like, listen, I really think you should think about this because, like, I get that you're going through it, but it happened 3 fucking years ago. If you love somebody, be honest with them. That's simple. And if you hate somebody, be honest with them. They'll take it how they want. But I think that suckerfish only exist because society is being taught to coddle people that don't want to become emotionally balanced adults. They want to stay children. They want to be 35 years old and still be children and still throw tantrums and still act like in some way, shape, or form what they went through when they were a teenager defines who they are at 40 years of fucking age. We need to start calling people out. I'm calling you out right now if you act like this. You need to fucking heal. You need to quit shitting on everybody else's fucking yard because you can't heal. You need to get fucking serious and get busy about fixing your own shit. It ain't my fucking problem. And that's a hard lesson for people to understand. It's hard for good people to take a hard stance against other good people, right? But being a good person means you help out those around you. Telling somebody they're fucking stupid can be the best thing you can do for somebody. Cussing somebody out that's a good person is literally sometimes the only way that it will traumatize them to the point where they learn the lesson and heal the trauma. Pull off the fucking band-aid. Pull it off. They're not going to bleed to death. The trauma didn't happen today. It happened before. They didn't die yet from it. They're not going to die from you telling them to shut the fuck up about it. And I know that sounds really callous. I understand that. But you got to understand from my point of view, I'm watching a bunch of fucking adults act like fucking children. I'm watching children be more mature than adults. I got to speak on it. I got to say something. I have to fucking reiterate my disgust at these adults wearing diapers and expecting anyone they meet to change their diaper for them. No deals. No deals. Fucking no deals. So I'm going to do something. I thought about this. I was thinking about it last night. I'm going to put my email on this page. I'm going to put my email on this page. My Cash App, too. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of good advice. Been had a lot of life experiences. And maybe these videos ain't doing it for you. Maybe you need me to cuss you out and let you know exactly what fucking stupidity you're doing. Or maybe you need a hug. And you need to be told what fucking stupidity you're doing. I don't know. I'll life coach you. I'll help you out. I don't have a problem with it. I got nothing else to do. But just like these videos, you can't have more than half an hour of my time. You can explain out everything you want. You can give me all the details, something you're stuck on. I don't care. And I will help you. I will give you the best advice that I can possibly give you based on the circumstances and my understanding of it. I'll do that for you. As long as you understand that if you're being a dork, if you're being dumb, if you're trying to go sideways on me, you've never been cussed out by somebody like me in your entire life. And I promise you will never forget the things I say to you if you decide you need to contact me and be fucking negative. And don't forget, everybody has an IP address. So anybody that's been doing fuck shit in my life, don't forget there was an IP address. All the people that have done me wrong and it's used any kind of electronics, don't forget the IP address. Anybody that's ever tried to set me up, don't forget the IP address. Anybody that's ever deleted shit and tried to cause me chaos, don't forget the IP address. So I'm going to give you my IP address so you can actually reach me. I'm not just some asshole. You can personally attack me through my emails now if you'd like to. Or you can ask me as many questions as you want. And it's going to be a case-by-case basis. I don't even want to charge people, for being honest. But I feel like if this takes off, I should. So it limits the bullshit. I just don't know what the number is that people aren't willing to pay to talk shit to me. That's really the only equation that I'm trying to figure out in this scenario. What's the number that the people that really want me to talk to them will pay, but the people that just want to talk shit to me won't pay? I can't have that many rich assholes that hate me. I can't. Most of them got to be broke. Because if you have intelligence, well, that's why there's all these views and no comments. So anyway, in the description of this video, I'm going to put my email and I'm going to put my Cash App. I'm not putting it on the page. You have to watch this video specifically and decide you don't want to deal with it no more. You want to talk to me directly, human to human. I'm going to open it up now. And I hope it causes as much chaos as I intend it to.